These are the best highlights from today's 2024 LCK Summer Split matchup.
I'm also trading his Ignite. Here comes Lucid up to the top lane. As Kingen has set this up, a bit of damage into Perfect. Can be hard to lock down the Udyr, who does go for the Ghost. As there's the Twisted Advance. Do they have the damage is really the question. As here comes Pillshake. They just give up on it, and now Lucid's in a rough spot. He's trying to run away from this one. And he will have to flash away. That flash afterwards from Pillshake, not great, but he gets in range. And now the Maokai in a lot of trouble. Does go into Perfect, though, and they trade the kill back. Kingen gonna get a kill for himself. Is going. It's not a gigantic lead, but it definitely feels like they have the pressure. As the Barrage gonna be coming in, and BDD is ganking on Smolder, and it might just be enough damage. So it's gonna force Kingen away. Here comes Mom, do a little bit extra and get the slowdown, and now Kingen doesn't have anywhere to go. Eats the oranges, isn't enough. One more kill would do it, and he gets the kill. BDD kills him under the turret.
But, you know, she gets strong later. Smolder actually winning lane a lot of the time in these very meta matchups. He's really going to catch this wave. They're also going to get the dragon you mentioned. It's in trade for the grubs. But bottom side is completely under their control.
Getting engaged on here, gonna knock Beryl in, but he doesn't care. Only level 5 is Moham, and level 6 is the Ashe. Moham getting super low, and he will be taken down. Beryl, unfortunately, gonna secure that kill, but it's still a kill for KT's bottom lane.
Yeah, they're getting a kill while also getting the dragon at the same time. Lucid's cross map is going to be to steal this red buff away, so a small victory for him. Over the Beryl, but still a big win. A plate is down bottom side. They're up 13 CS on the Ashe, and we're still top side.
And he stays to hit the barrel. Isn't enough damage, though. The CP very squishy at this point in time. It's just another kill to KT, and now Lucid gets baited into the fight. And these two tanks nearly able to dive the turret, but they force the flash of Lucid. And here comes BDD.
Got his ultimate. He might be able to snipe him here. He's going for it.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Oh!
Lucid is not looking. He's just going to be taken down. He is already just... He's just free farming mid, and even though Showmaker isn't really under too much pressure, it's just a lot of stacking that goes over for free to the Smolder, and nobody's really able to threaten it because the jungle matchup is heavily favored towards Pillshake, so yeah. Generally, I was going to be okay if it was just going to sit in the front line and be a sponge for the Smolder, but he has done so much more than that. As now they engage on a Pillshake. This is a very tanky Sejuani. Can they get through him? The answer is no, as aiming totally whips the ult, hits nothing. And now Beryl and the rest of the team is following up here as Lucid has to flash away. So low are the health bars. As Deft actually getting a little bit too far ahead of his team, and now Pillshake not able to follow up, aiming able to punish him. And here comes D plus Kia, a couple of kills going their way as BDD, very, very strong though, gonna get slowed up here. And now BDD is looking to challenge the two of them. Going on in, taking a bunch of damage. He's got aiming behind him as well. It's BDD versus the world.
He's definitely dead here, aiming around the corner. You have to think.
Well, he's still fighting this one out. He doesn't have his flap, and he will be taken down as the TP goes into the top lane and just running away from the barrels. Another thing that Udyr can do well.
Sounds like some of the fans on our side of the arena got a little bit too enthusiastic about how the early game went. The fight and the turn looked so good. Like, Beryl's there for the ultimate.
And yeah, I mean, KT is still ahead on gold by 1,000, and it's Infernal Soul in this one. As KT do look to take down the Rift Heralds. They have all 5 members over here. Meanwhile, King just free farming. They're gonna look for Lucid, who doesn't have sums at this point in time. He's just gonna be food, not able to take out Beryl. And down will go Lucid.
Yeah, that Leandri's not really going to help him in this situation, but, you know, I don't know if he had any other tank item first, if he would have lived either with all that CC. Super frustrating, though, when you've got to be the guy up in the front line. You've got to be getting that information, that intel. He just ends up getting left out to dry, unfortunately, and Perfect's going to come over here, challenge Kingen.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really long lane. Perfect, a little bit unsure about himself, doesn't want to be next to the barrel, but he's got Ghost up, so he's still going to continue chasing. Turtle to absorb some of that damage, lands the stun. Kingen in a bit of a rough spot. He's also got Pillshake coming over. Kingen desperate to take down Perfect, but he can't quite do it as now it's a 3-on-1, and Perfect will net himself a 3rd kill. Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, Kingen is definitely struggling. I still do think that the GP will serve a function, but he's been very far behind. We saw Kingen actually, I think it was against Bro, he got far behind, he even flashed into a Lilia bowling ball, and it was really rough. and then he eventually carried the late game anyway. So a massive engage onto the turret as Beryl, no chill at all, just going in, and the follow-up is not quite there, and now the rest of the team is getting baited in as well. Perfect, and the Smolder BDD able to get a couple of kills. Perfect is so deep in that one that BDD can't quite follow up. Maybe a bit over aggressive.
Feels pretty insane. Kingen does have Demolish. And is going to try to take this turret out completely uncontested right now. Has the barrage. That shouldn't have happened.
Why did they just... Okay, well, they're maybe going to be able to punish him after the fact, as here comes the bomb from the sky once again, but BDD is not able to follow up.
Game very well, but otherwise isn't going to really feel as good as maybe an MF and a Corki as here comes Moham.
Oh boy, they're just trying to face check into the river, and this time Pyosik is just going to be punished, and that one felt like it was free as well. I mean, he just kind of sticks his nose in there. He's like, hey, what's going on, guys? DK, take him down. That's the jungler of KT gone, and it might just be an early Baron for DK.
Yeah, let's see if they can stop the Smolder from really burning them down. I mean, there's a very late rotation over from KT.
They're just not really in position to challenge this either. I mean, BDD's doing damage to an Alistar. Moham doesn't care. And now you've got the combo, the turn coming in. They already took the Baron, and BDD can't do anything. Deft and BDD just running away from this one. DK, they get so much value out of this. They're just wondering if they want more.
Deft's going to have to flash.
And, well, I guess they wanted more. It's not looking good, though. They need to flash away. BDD nearly dies. And now might just be flashed on here. The cannon barrage gets him, and a big one to the face of Deft. And finally, DK find that little bit of extra value. The disengage cone will get Perfect out, but DK, they surge into the lead.
Control over that part of the map, and he just sticks his nose where it doesn't belong. So to kind of continue with your analogy, and D+ winning some big fights here.
Talked about this in drafts, like, yes, you've got the Smolder, you've got great scaling, but DK from ahead, you've got Corki GP and MF, who's just farmed out of her mind. What are they going to do against this? Because now he's GP in the late game, you know? He's not farmed out of his mind, but it just doesn't matter.
BDD is going to get stronger, but it's just, you need time in a team fight with Smolder to actually win it. And if he gets hit by a barrel chain, that's the end of the fight. Instead, he can do damage pretty consistently with all of his abilities, including his Q, of course, but be burning health bars down. Something like he just did there with the Achu would be much more valuable if he had that. Is Moham?
That is an Alistar. They're just going to counter-engage onto Perfect, who is getting pretty low. He is Udyr trying to run away, but now the engage follow-up onto everybody. Mob comes down, and everything is burning as Solo are the health bars, aiming not able to do much, throws an ult into Deft. And now Moham trying to just get a little bit out of this one, but just has to get away from Perfect. And now aiming in a really rough spot himself, trying to take down Pyosik. Showmaker gets one, but it's KT who win the fight in a big way, 3-1.
Right before Baron. Pyosik still alive here, has his smite. Showmaker sitting at, just under half health. There's nothing he can do here to stop this one, so great re-engage from Beryl. I feel like without Beryl's, some of Beryl's Magnet Storms, this game could have looked even rougher for KT, but he saves this one as the mom comes through from BDD. His first Infernal Dragon of the game.
It should. I'm glad that you say it that way, because this is, you wonder why the series are always so close between DK and KT. Well, this is why. One just yet.
BDD is nearing 400 stacks. He is very strong at this moment in time. Still has the Baron buff as well. And some additional combat prowess. See if Rel can find that engage barrel on the flank.
Yeah, you see Showmaker trying to tip away. KT not really pushing Lucid out of this one, though, so he is in, and it goes to flip, and it's Infernal Soul to DK, as this fight as well is pretty close. Beryl going to be taking out BDD. Super low. He's being burned to a crisp by the Infernal Drake. And down he will go. Showmaker and Aiming are solo themselves. They're going to back away. But
yeah, they're going to try to turn this into an inhibitor. They have this huge wave here. Even though KT have Baron buff, those Baron minions aren't going to defend this inhib. And if anyone else dies, I mean, they might be able to actually get even more here. Everyone for D+ completely grouped.
Yeah, the timing is pretty much impeccable on that item. Deft able to check at least with some hawk shots. Beryl in a little bit of trouble as he is having to crash down. And now he has to flash as well. Ton of damage done the other way, though. Aiming super low, in goes Perfect, and he's just gonna die. Tries to get the kill on Aiming, as it's just kind of a drive-by into death from Perfect. And now, he's dead.
I don't know if that's necessarily going to be enough to get Baron, though. BDD has TP, he's going to back and come back over.
BT, I mean, he's just gonna heal up, and yeah, they're just not even gonna go for it. They have to deal with the bottom lane and the Elder Drake.
I don't hate the idea, but I think the judgment was a little bit off as now they're just on Elder.
Look at this. Pyosik, he's trying to get in on the left side, but he cannot. Oh, he's trying to get in, and he does. He's gonna smite it away. The Elder Drake goes to BDD, and now DK can't go anywhere near that guy, but they do take down a couple. And maybe they try to push off of this, but it's very dangerous into Smolder with Elder.
Does still have his GA available as well, so you really have to consider, okay.
They're just going to run into them. I mean, he's got Elder, but now will go Deft as well. Jeez, the damage from the Infernal Soul is just ridiculous. And it's a trade of 80 carries, one of them which had Elder. I feel like DK will take that, but it's still KT in control of the mid lane for now.
Looks like D+ have really staved off the pressure. Yeah, you get this inner turret. The gold from that isn't that valuable. It will open up that inhibitor turret in the top lane. The damage. Moam is on the wrong side of this fight.
Moam has his ult back, so at least he's got that. Ward comes down, and, well, the wave is pushing bot as well, so DK really trying to utilize that at this point.
Look, Barrel's engage is what everyone's got their eyes on right now. He has flash ult, and D+ need to respect it.
Oh, they're TPing bot. They want to end the game. They don't care about the Elder Drake. They want to take the game. Here comes the barrel engage. That is a massive bullet time, but the stun comes in onto aiming, and it's a flip for the Elder. It goes the way of DK, and down will go Barrel. Lucian will also bite the dust, but the Elder Drake is enough. The TP is coming in, but it's too late. Oh, he does get in, but Showmaker just has enough damage to push him away. And BDD all alone, the sad little baby dragon, will not win the game for the team. D+ Kia take game one.
Kingen playing Smolder top. Now, he was the top Smolder player. I guess that is where they're, in fact, going.
Yeah.
Last game we talked about, they could flex it, they could pick the Lucian for mid and go top Smolder. This time I felt like it should have been even more obvious that this was a possibility because it is Kingen.
Yeah, he's probably spamming that copy pasta in his brain right now. Moham gonna flash under the turret. Pyosik gets stunned under there. It's another turret shot into him, and the Ignite nearly takes him down, but Pyosik will survive. Not quite the trade KT were looking for. They're going in again, though, aiming in a bit of trouble. Flash forward from Barrel, and the fourth shot from Dev gets the first blood, and that is the trade they were looking for.
Rebinds his soul in a weird spot, but I've already seen him push him once. His Barrel's up here.
Yeah, Showmaker in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have flash. Remember, he used it before. Now the all-out comes out. He is going to throw his ult in, but flash forward from Perfect might be enough. He gets that last auto in. As Lucid nearby, but it's 1v3.
Last game, pretty intelligent roams. Great timings from Pyosik. This time it's just all about the mid lane here in this exchange. Bottom lane, obviously great flashes. Here we go, Barrel in again. He's just not stopping.
Yeah, the peel here, though, on a Barrel is quite good. They don't have the damage, though, and they get baited into this one. As Barrel, the mind games, he picks up another kill for the team. As now Showmaker is here. A lot of low health bars. BDD in a lot of trouble, has to flash over the wall. And he's almost definitely going down, unless Kingen goes down first. But no, 1Q will get the job done. He sees enemy, and he goes in. And no excuses. Perfect gonna get this knockback here. Maybe thinking about an angle. Doesn't have his all out just yet. But he's beginning to win this matchup.
You have to expect after a lot of action bottom side. Speaking of,
Dev just kind of walking up by himself in a 1v2. Just has to flash and cleanse. Here's the bullet time, and Dev barely gonna get out.
They're just gonna let this one go. The prio at least. Deft over here.
Yeah, just a bit of a setup for the Drake. It's the first Drake of the game. Currently 4v3, but with the TP coming in from Kingen. It's actually KT Rolster that are going to give this one up. So enough pressure and no sums on Dev potentially. They just say, well, we don't get the pick we were looking for. We're just going to back away.
As well as these grubs. Well, I was just going to say, as Kingen kind of gave me a +1 on the point, was BDD's really been preparing this pick, right? Knows the Corki matchup incredibly well because it's the most common matchup, and it's what he's been picking it into. Whereas Kingen picked this for top lane, got lane swapped into, probably isn't preparing as much for the Corki matchups, getting kind of crushed there. And I don't want to say it looks lost, but hasn't really been joining team fights the same, hasn't been making the same impact that BDD did in the early game on his Smolder. So, going to be less tanky. As he wants to be a late game carry, not just a tank that also has scaling properties.
Moham just kind of walks past him. Kingen nearly dies, and Barrel's just going to lock down Moham, but BDD very far down the lane. might not be punished here, but here comes Lucid and Aiming, both running this way. Maybe trying to punish Beryl here, as so many members of DK are in the area. Just going to throw a bullet time into the Leona, as now everybody's getting locked down. In goes Pyosik, but he is alone, and Moham's going to survive. Showmaker very far forward, might be punished, but Pyosik's going to go down. And pull through the wall is Showmaker. He will flash to get away, and that means DK just pick up 2 kills just like that.
Okay, messy fight. KT's super disjointed. They almost kill Kingin, but don't quite. They almost have the Maokai engaged to turn things around, but he's a little bit too far away. They almost snipe Moham, but he's going to be blocked there. So that's going to be the Herald going over as well as the kills. D+ actually taking a gold lead off of the final exchange. They give the Herald over to Aiming because he's the gold king, so that's just how that goes.
In the first game, like the Leandries with the poke, with the saplings, it still matters. This Kingin in a bit of trouble. Down comes Mom just to keep him alive, but that lane has, a big engage, this time from Moham on the rail, catches 2, and that is just free. KT cannot get in onto the Drake.
Should be 2 dragons to D+, off of the play, 2 kills. Kingin lives topside, he's still scaling. And KT losing control of this game fast again, having a nice, very early game. It is Mountain, so maybe they can start stacking those up for perfect here. Coordinated and unprepared. And this is one of those secondary options in this game. It's still only 1,000, 1,400 the gold lead here, but
Showmaker, his opportunity. And he will get a bunch of poke down.
Beryl?
Does get Beryl in. Beryl just going to assassinate Showmaker, who is not very tanky at this point in time. Nice lineup here from DK, as now the sleep is going to come in. And a massive bullet time once again forces the flashes away. So many low health bars on the side of KT, but they're still going forward. Lucid! And he goes for the arm guard, but he's probably, he's going to get away, and he flashes out of that one. Aiming takes down the Leona. As of right now, DK are in a better spot to go for that one. KT actually angling up towards the top side, but they have a nice timing here where they can take the turret down back and then try to contest on this Drake, which it looks like, yeah, I mean, you mentioned it before, the Mountain Drake's so valuable for KT, so I feel like DK still don't want to just give one away, but if they could get their Smolder to 225, that would be huge. As in goes Perfect, not going to get a knock up. As everybody kind of posturing on the Drake, DK not overcommitting just yet. Moam actually going to crash down away, and now the Maokai ultimate comes in. They're just going to back out of this one, but KT, they want more. They want to engage as the sleep is coming down, but Lucid is getting so low. As in goes Showmaker, he finally hits something, a massive bullet time, lines them all up. They run straight into Aiming, and Lucid is still alive in this match.
There's the stacks.
And Deft, well, he's just going to go down. Nice try, as he was on the long-term chase, and Lucid gets away again. And KT have not been able to punish that at all. You know, you think about the MF, here comes another bullet time. Beryl, or rather Pyosik is just dead.
They're going to start Baron here. Beryl trying to look for Moham's flank.
Oh, Jin's going to open up here. They want to get Lucid, but he's got Zhonya's completed, and now the Smolder's online. The MF's in a perfect spot. Showmaker will go down, but the damage is not coming from Showmaker. It's a triple kill for Aiming, who now has 9 kills in this game, and they will take down the Baron here at 26 minutes.
You know, it's been very rare. In fact, we haven't seen it this season, but it's been rare in general between these two teams across the last few years. Again, as mentioned, it felt kind of rickety when it's this far behind. You don't have a jungle, you don't have a Maokai close to him.
You rarely ever see that, if at all. Like, double the value of items at 27 minutes into the game? That's
like
insane.
That doesn't happen in solo queue games where like somebody goes 0-4.
Well,
I mean, it can, but it doesn't always happen.
AFK Timo begs to differ. Yeah, so DK, I mean, at this point, we've gone on and on about the MF. He is insanely fed, and I feel like this is now just their victory lap.
And, yeah, I mean, the Baron just might end the game. They have this inhibitor. They could get a pick. They certainly could just end. Moam's got his ult back. So does Aiming. And they otherwise could just siege with the Smolder.
Yeah. They've got pretty good siege, you know, with the Lilia, the Smolder, even the MF herself.
You can't get on top of Moam either because he will just turn that onto you instantly if you try to collapse on him. So he's actually very safe in the base. Doesn't care. That's a second inhibitor, and the siege continues. Baron's still up for 15 seconds. Majority of the damage done to it will be aimings, even with Leandri's here. For Lucid,
So
he's just gonna back off.
if you're aiming, what item do you buy fifth?
I don't know, like, he could go GA, but is he really worried about being hurt?
AT and kind of a vice grip in their base.
Yeah, Showmaker's in mid here on the cross as well.
KT, they gotta send it. They don't have anywhere else to go. They're gonna go in onto the front line as in goes Mohawk, catches everybody. The bullet time is just insane damage. Everybody is slept as well, as it's really the victory lap this time for the side of DK. A triple kill for Lucid. And man, that was a clean one from the side of DK, and it's a clean 2-0 from D plus Kia to take down KT. And they will secure their spot here with a very strong series win moving into playoffs.
These are the best highlights from today's 2024 LCK Summer Split matchup.
She's a poor performance of it all overall as Carry is going in.
Going in, and Hannah is, well, actually it was Raptor. He is going to be 100-0. First blood does go over to T1 just like that, but BNK are fighting back. Owner going to be taken out himself, and that is a trade of junglers.
Arm for Faker in the mid lane. And also that guarantees the second and third Grub go to Raptor. They're not Raptors, but
Yeah, we have Raptors now. They used to be Wraiths. Times change.
The white. EHT white. It was white. Or the Gromp it is now. You remember that?
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Wow. Guma's just going to be ulted, and he is going to throw an arrow in as well. Duro's going to get pretty low. Hannah just has to walk away.
Get a bigger clue on how much this really means. The individual stats of this will be relatively useful. It's not Grasp with 0 or anything like that. It's not going to be super tanky. It'll be straight to Hextech. So, feel like we're headed to a Chemtech Soul just with how the LCK works.
Yeah, you're just kind of taking it for safety. As we've really slowed down. Feeling the deep lull state coming on. As I say that though, Closer is in the bot lane getting some plays, and T1 do want to respond to this. Keria, he is going to go in with the Magnustorm and flash away. Here comes an arrow. That's also flashed from. So both supports very careful about how far they go.
That's as much action as they'll allow. As Clear.
He might be in a little bit of trouble. That one auto into the stun. Very good from Owner. Clear extremely low. Has to flash the Heartbreaker. We see a lot of Kennen, but it's almost always AP because your spacing basically has to be perfect. Your range isn't that long on the auto attacks, but obviously it's longer than the Renekton. Especially this matchup can be very difficult. By the way, it is Infernal Soul.
All right.
In this game.
Feeling great for T1 with a 2 Drake lead. And yeah, it's in Zeus' meta. And when you have a farming Kennen that's actually building AD, it's kind of a problem that he's getting all of this money, and there's just been no answer whatsoever. They gave the Dragon, but also failed to get the Herald. So turret for Flash Mist Hook. That's the cross map.
Yeah, it's up a couple of components.
Like, literally T1 are playing tennis with BNK. Like, oh, you guys went for the Kennen? He has TP, by the way, and now we're doing the Herald that you guys didn't start earlier. And we have full control over the map. They have a teleport ward for this Kennen as well, so Zeus can just come in. We'll clear the said ward at least.
Yeah, the issue with AD Kennen is that those teleport flanks, kind of whatever. It's like, oh, well, we got our very fed Kennen there, that's good, but the flank itself is like, well, they ulted us, and he doesn't have any AP.
Closer TPs, and T1 is going to give this up, it looks like.
Yeah, I feel like this is actually good. Like, I feel like Zeus should just stay bot and try to get tier 2.
No, exactly, and that's what he's going to do. You know, even if you TP in with AD Kennen, obviously your ult's not going to do a lot of damage. There still is the utility of it there, but he could have just TP'd in, not as a flank, but just to help fight with it. And none of these turrets are really killable here right now with this Herald. Unless they get a kill here and clean this one up, they are going to commit to this, even though it's at 90% health.
Yeah.
And
so
they just walk away.
Hey, they got it to half health. And this is good, too. I think Owner, you know, there's not much happening. He's able to join on bot, and there's nothing that Claire can do. First is on.
Just getting out macroed super hard. It's a 2-kill game, but it's a 3,000 gold lead for T1. Or rather, Zeus doesn't interrupt him. But Dragon's up in 15. Zeus is getting half of this turret. Can still just go bottom.
Okay, well, Clear is just going to try to get in onto Zeus. There's the Slicing Maelstrom for the stun, and it's enough autos to get the kill. Zeus wins the 1v1. Clear had it. He'd had enough, and he said, I need to pull the trigger. I need to do something.
That maybe he could catch this cannon in the top lane. Maybe put some deep vision up. But Zeus is long gone, miles away.
Yeah. It's really a thinking man's game. That's just going to be even more impressive. He's going to have a ton of tanky stats as well.
Yeah, because then he just, I mean, he does a decent amount of damage, but he just becomes this utility, engage, DPS, like...
He just gets flashed away from.
Yeah, well, he did get Guma's flash, so maybe the next time...
He approached the wave, so just even more oppressive. They want to take down this mid-tier 1. Looks like Faker just going to tap that once. Big flank right now from Clear.
So, looks like maybe they were going to try to look for the flank to come back, or rather just the engage here.
They're just going to start Baron.
They're just going to start Baron instead and say, look, one Dragon versus one Baron. We already have 3 Dragons. That's going to be what they grab. Nice fadeaway here from Raptor. They're going to TP for this.
I mean, they might be able to get in. The damage, though, is so fast on this one that it's definitely going the way of T1. Let's see what this fight looks like, as a lot of damage goes into Duro, but that's the first reset for the Viego. And look at Clear, he's so far ahead of the team. Down he will go. Keria might pay the price, but it's still the fight for T1, as now you got the TP coming in from the blue team. Faker looking for a bit more, looking for Closer, who does have to flash the sweep. And is even kind of losing the trade, but the big one does get stasis by Faker. Nicely done. Flash comes in as Red wins as well. And he's going to get that kill. T1 finally finding a big fight. And now Henna kind of alone against the Viego, who is quite fed, and he will not win that fight in any universe. Is that just the game, Wolf?
I think that's just the game. I mean, 40 seconds on both AD carries here for B&K. They have Baron. They have a cannon wave. Instead, it looks like they're just going to dot the rise and cross their T's here a little bit. But that was a pretty disastrous, fight on the Baron for B&K, but they were so behind the 8 ball, macro and the killing. And that means big items.
It's a good combo. And, well, they're going to be looking for bot turret and inhibitor, but 5 members, 4 members and a half. You know, Clear's kind of in mid. He's like, oh God, I got to go top, but I can't deal with the cannon. I can't deal with this guy alone. Clear already learned that, and that was before the cannon had 4 items.
Yeah, I feel like Zeus just right-clicked on the turret and then, like, stretched his hands.
Yeah, and now once again, look at Duro. He's just like, I got to hook something. I'm going to hook a minion. Obviously not on purpose, but just desperation on the side of B&K. Down will go Keria, but the carries here on the side of T1 are now very fed. Zeus getting 1v2'd. He will trade 1 for 1. And Guma is still alive, as well as Owner getting resets in the backline. Faker going to go in, get stunned. Does go into the stasis, but I'm not sure that he gets out. Oh, he does! The sweep into the flash! And that is a beautiful way to end the game. T1 clean. Super clean here in this first one, and will take it down up against B&K to take the lead in the series.
Say what you will about Faker's mechanics here in round 2 on a lot of other champions, but you put the man on the Azir. Let's see how Closer does on the Zeri mid here. Doesn't feel like very much a closer champion, but it is winning against the Corki specifically a lot.
Zeus on a split push pick like the Camille. Here comes Owner invading in onto Duro, but now he's just going to have to flash the wall. Keria just puts down a magical journey kind of into nowhere, but T1 do want to fight this. Just stay straight up 4v4 in the jungle, just fighting it up. There's the flash stun onto 2, and the follow-up comes in. Raptor solo, double knockup from Duro, but it just doesn't matter. The damage is taken away, and T1 will pick up 2 kills in one of the most random fights I've ever seen.
Yeah. Didn't force the cleanse out. Zeus may be in trouble.
Ooh. Okay, well, he is burning a bit, but Equalizer is not going to get the kill. Meanwhile, in mid, there's that level 6. Faker not really concerned. He just wants to get the minions, but he might have to pay for it. The slow comes in, as now looking to turn around. Will try to flash the wall, but Closer's got a flash of his own. Meanwhile, they're diving the bot lane. That's not going very well. And they're going to abandon that as the sleep comes in. Duro actually gets stunned up. It will be a kill onto Duro. Oh, they got the flash out of him, they'll say. Hashtag worth. But now we got a fight in mid once again as Faker's just being run down here by the Zeri. Has this Valkyrie over the wall. It's a big one, though, to the face of Closer as it gets extremely close. And now Duro makes his way in, so Faker has to back away.
Bit of a lurk here on said Grubs. Owner was topside.
Yeah, just trying to make a play happen, but Raptor a bit alone. He does have Closer coming up, and the equalizer is good as well. Owner will be taken down. And now Zeus just on the run. This Zeri just getting so much value in this game. Zeus just go back into the pit, but no hook shot and no escape for the top laner of T1. So that's 2 kills now going back over to BNK.
That was a really decisive call from Raptor to look for that ultimate to start the fight off. Closer can join in very quickly on the Zeri and ends up getting an insanely high value team fight.
Carrier's coming up here. And he does have his ult available. It's just going to hook shot into clear. BNK unsure about what to do now that Carrier shows up. But Zeus is going on in, and he's in a bit of trouble as, the ults have stacked. And now we got a TP coming in. The double stun comes in from Carrier. A lot of damage coming out of this Rumble, but there's just too many players coming up to the top side for T1 as Faker's TP does get a lot of value, picks up that kill. But meanwhile, Closer's just getting plates in mid.
Ahead, but so is Guma in the bottom lane. So we kind of have like this very weak Camille that's not going to be a side lane threat for a very long time, if ever. But we also have this Jhin that wasn't really an AD carry to begin with, but isn't really going to be relevant in this game for a while.
And yeah, it really just comes down to where do you want that money. And on the side of BNK, they're looking to really eliminate Zeus from the game. And Hannah's just joined clear, pushing the top lane. This should be an inner going down already 13 minutes into the game. So not only did they get all of the plates in top, they got an extra turret before 14 minutes.
I mean, obviously the gold lead is in BNK's favor right now. You know, they end up getting so much money off of those plays topside there, the inner turret stacking up. Guma will be able to get this turret in return, but it's going to be a Herald taken. I look at this game state, though, heavily favored towards BNK because the Fed Rumble versus, Faker's Corki is pretty even, right? Even though he got all in and there was some mistakes made, he's not too far behind. And Guma having a ton of money doesn't necessarily matter if they're not able to set up team fights or frontline for him. But likewise, we do see Zeus is kind of playing the game up here on the top side. So that's a good look. The Ash Arrow is going to miss. But the Camille's getting money. Rumble's still getting money, but we're getting one player back into the game, sort of, here for T1 versus just furthering that lead for Clear. I think T1 are playing this very well, putting the pressure on in mid, pushing Henna out of the lane, forcing him to flash, getting him out, trying to grab him with the arrow, and then, but at least trying to use your power point very well there in the mid lane. Speaking of.
Yeah, Henna came back. He doesn't have flash, and there's a Camille on the enemy team, so he's just going to go down. Doesn't get to play the game, as I said. Raptor also getting ganked in his own jungle by the rest of T1, so a couple of big picks here for the set of T1. There's no objective to really roll this into, but they're trying to really push their lead.
It's getting out macroed again, and now I'm going to have to flip back to I don't favor this game state for BNK anymore, as Closer's going to try to get something done.
All right, the charm in and the knock up here for Carrier. He has to flash away Guma as well, being pressured, and now you've got a Rumble right underneath, but the magical journey is so good, and in goes Closer. And he is going to pick up that kill. Now the response, the stun comes in, the cleanse there, and the damage is just huge from the Lilia and from the Corki. They're chasing him down, and the chase potential of this squad is just so huge with these champions. So T1 able to strike back.
It just takes so long for the turnaround there for BNK to get those kills. They get the kill onto Guma, but Lilia shows up, and the front to back basically begins there. And it's just really easy for them to clean up house.
To their base foundation. Okay, we're the team that always fights, always attacks. And they did that, but they got punished. As now, Sleep might be coming in, and no steal this time, but they are going to catch Faker, who does have a magical journey, and he's going to flash into it and get away. And now the three-man Sleep comes in with the bowling ball. Everybody is caught up in this one, and BNK are caught again, as the double kill goes over to Owner.
It's another bait! It's another one, Valdez! Triple. And a triple kill goes to Owner, and ultimate there, the Tempered Fate, as Faker's just like, all right, come get me, and then he flashes through, and they still index into it. And between the two of them, they just knocked B&K out of this game and potentially out of this series. Nice equalizer attempt to maybe steal that one away. Be 2-0 because whoever wins game 1 gets some momentum, but game 2 looked like that wasn't going to be the case until it was. Raptor finds an angle.
Nice cleanse comes in, and there's the arrow to the face, but the charm's still going to land. These two guys kind of caught out, but once again, Temper Fate comes through, but Guma, no escape for him. Owner a lot more tanky, and Duro just going to go down to mostly Faker and a bit of damage from the Lilia as, man, Owner is just so incredibly fed at this point. Everything is burning, and Closer maybe gets hit. Nope, it's just going to be the Camille that does get on in. Raptor has to flash clear. There's just nowhere to go. And you gave him Rumble. You felt good about this one for the side of B&K. You get Rumble for clear, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, suddenly you blink your eyes, or maybe if you took a restroom break, you know, a few minutes ago, you're washing your hands, you went and got a beer out of the fridge, you come back, you're like, how does Zeus have 5 kills? What happened in this one? How did that happen? How did that transpire? Last I was looking, he was massively behind. The Rumble was getting inner turrets.
Insane amounts that this Lily is able to do. You have so much control when you've got Lily and Bardis. Now we're going to get the root down onto Faker. Another Temper Fate is going to come forward, but there's only so much they can do. A ton of damage goes into Duro as a bit of ticking down does happen from the Lilia. I think the wallets are just that big at this point in time.
2 items, now 3, as I say it. That's a big spike, but it might be a little bit too late. 6,500 gold behind.
Yeah, at least for B&K, it is Chemtech Soul. I mean, there is a bit of healing, a little bit of shielding, but it's not really that big of a deal. Got a lot of ways, you know, even the Camille, obviously, to also pressure the side lane, and this is just one way to do it as well, I suppose. The Mikhails comes out, gets some value. They're going to catch only Duro as the equalizer gets some good value. Now B&K looking to try to take this fight. Owner has to flash away, and take a look at Zeus just trying to peel for the team as he's going to have to throw down the ultimatum and flash away. Duro just, with the Mikhails first, he's just so squishy. I talked about it earlier on. He just doesn't do much, and now Raptor trying to get close to the pit. Here's the turn as well, and T1, they do find it. Zeus not going to pull the trigger on the ultimatum.
No jungler, no equalizer, and T1 can just go straight back to the Baron with no fear here. And no Fear X in the pit. I just don't see any way they can contest here.
What is he doing?
Area?
He's just following them.
Yeah, he's just keeping an eye on him.
Yeah.
Babysitting.
I mean, eventually...
No backs allowed.
And it's really fast. You know, they have the one Cloud Drake. He's Bard, and he's got Warmogs. And now he's going to find Clear. Mikhails comes down, but Clear is just dead. And eventually, here comes the Sealed Fate as well, or the Tempered Fate, gonna catch Raptor, and everybody's just being hit in the face by some gigantic wallets on the side of T1. It is a clean ace, and that will do it for game number 2 in the series. T1 gonna go into playoffs with a 2-0 win.
No one really knew what the form was going to look like for T1 in an important match to deny B&K playoffs leading into this week. B&K already had it guaranteed, already had it on lock. I feel like nothing to play for here except the fans for T1. And they did play well for the fans. Gave everybody a show and a very dominant 2-0 showing.
These were some of the best highlights from today's 2024 LCK Summer Split matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.